Your home is telling a story. You're worried about what the neighbors or your children think that story is. But you're asking the wrong question. The only question that matters is, what story is your home telling you? I have a camera, a beautiful Leica from 1967. It sits on my study shelf. It cost me nearly 2 months' salary back when I was a young man, trying to prove something. I was the man with the Leica. It captured my wife's face in the Italian sun, my first child's clumsy steps. Now, my hands have a slight tremor, not enough for anyone to notice, but too much to load a roll of 35mm film in the dark. My eyes, which once could spot a story from across the street, struggle to find the precise focus point. The camera is still a perfect machine. I am not. It's no longer a tool. It's a silent silver accusation. You think you are hiding a mess, but you are not. You are hiding a verdict. You're worried people will think you've let yourself go. That's the shallow fear. The real terror, the one that visits you in the dead of night, is that your home is right, that all this stuff is a perfect fossil record of a life that has stopped creating and started curating. Every box of old university textbooks from 1998, every dress in a size you haven't been since the Carter administration, every stack of magazines you intended to read. They aren't just objects. They are ghosts of past intentions. They are monuments to a person you once were, or a person you plan to be. You're not afraid of judgment from the outside. You're terrified that this museum you live in is a mirror, and you're starting to believe what it reflects. Most people think clutter is a problem of space. They are wrong. It is a problem of time. The time you will lose tomorrow looking for the car keys. The time you will spend this weekend dusting souvenirs you don't even like anymore. And the most expensive time of all, the weeks your children will one day spend in their grief, sorting through the landfill of your postponed decisions. We spend the first 50 years of our lives collecting things to prove who we are. A good life is spending the next 50 letting them go to finally be who we are. Now I need you to listen with your whole heart to what I am about to tell you. I'm telling you this now so that perhaps you don't have to be as stupid as I was for so very long. It may save you years of frustration. It may just give you back your present. I had a friend, David, a brilliant carpenter down in the old part of town, near the river. His hands were gnarled but steady, capable of turning a rough piece of timber into something that felt alive. His garage, however, was not a workspace. It had become a shrine, a testament to a lifetime of just in case. Every offcut of oak from a kitchen he built in 1985, every bent nail he'd painstakingly straightened, every single tool he'd inherited from his father back in 1970. He would stand in the doorway, the single dusty light bulb illuminating floating motes of sawdust, and say, "This is my history, my boy. It's all valuable." His wife, Mary, couldn't even find the Christmas decorations in there anymore. It wasn't just cluttered. It was a fortress of forgotten potential. And he was its lonely king, guarding a kingdom of rust and splinters. One Saturday afternoon in early May, his grandson Leo, who was maybe 6 years old at the time, came in holding a picture from a book. His eyes were wide with a mission. He pointed to a simple drawing, and his small voice cut through the garage's musty silence. "Grandpa, can we build a birdhouse?" David looked at his grandson, then at the impenetrable walls of his life's work. You could see him mentally trying to navigate the maze. He'd have to move the stack of pine from the 1992 porch job to get to the plywood sheets he'd saved from '88. The good saws were behind a mountain of old paint cans. I watched his shoulders slump, a slow deflation of spirit. "It's too much of a mess to find anything, son," he said, his voice softer than I'd ever heard it. "Maybe next time." The word valuable died in the air that day. I saw the look on Leo's face. It wasn't anger. It was just a quiet closing of a door, a flicker of light going out. But the look that truly broke my heart was the one on David's face. In that instant, he saw his garage not as a treasure trove of history, but as a tomb, a place where future memories came to die. The accumulated value of all that saved material was precisely zero. The cost, however, was infinite. It was the price of a memory with the boy he adored, a shared hour of creation that he had just traded for a pile of rotting wood and the empty promise of someday. He had spent a lifetime saving things, only to realize he had saved himself right out of the moment that mattered. That evening, I heard a noise I had never heard from his property. The metallic groan and slam of a commercial dumpster being delivered. For the next 3 hours, under the harsh glare of a single floodlight, David dismantled his shrine. He didn't sort or reminisce. He worked with a grim, focused fury. The sound of splintering wood and shattering glass echoed down the quiet street. He wasn't throwing away his history. I want you to understand that. He was throwing away his excuses. He was clearing out the physical manifestation of his fear. Fear of not having enough. Fear of letting go. Fear of the future. Each armload he tossed into that gaping metal box was an apology to his grandson, and more importantly, to himself. It was a brutal, beautiful, and necessary act of liberation. The next Saturday, the great garage door was rolled all the way up, and sunlight poured into a space that was suddenly vast and full of possibility. In the center of the clean concrete floor, David and Leo were on their knees. The air didn't smell like dust and regret anymore. It smelled of fresh-cut pine. The sound wasn't silence. It was the rhythmic scratch of a small handsaw and a child's occasional giggle. By the end of the day, they had built a magnificent birdhouse, a little crooked perhaps, but perfect. David didn't lose his past that week. He just stopped letting it stand in the doorway and steal the light from his present. He finally understood that the most valuable tool he owned was the time he had left, not the things he had collected. David's garage wasn't just in his home. It was in his head. And so is yours. You think the problem is the stack of boxes in the spare room, but the real issue is the mental weight each box carries. Every unused object in your house is a tiny, nagging voice. The dress for a life you no longer lead whispers, "You've changed." The broken lamp you meant to fix says, "You've failed." Your late husband's armchair, still holding his shape, isn't a comfort. It's a ghost you live with every day. You're not just storing things. You're providing room and board for phantoms of your past. Each one occupies a piece of your mind, stealing focus and energy from the person you are today. This clutter is the physical residue of thousands of postponed decisions, and this indecision is a heavy tax on your peace of mind. Your home has become a crowded waiting room, and your spirit can't find a place to sit. We become afraid of the empty space. We think a cleared out room or a bare shelf is an admission of defeat, a sign that the story is over. This is a profound mistake. That empty space is not a void. It is an invitation. It is the most fertile ground you have. A spare room cleared of its forgotten junk is not an empty room. It is a future yoga studio, a painter's corner, a quiet library, a place where your grandson can build a city of blocks without fear of breaking something precious. You are not what you own. You are the love you've shared, the lessons you've learned, and the laughter you can still create. Letting go of the artifacts doesn't erase your history. It frees your identity from the dusty prison of your possessions. The space you create in your home is the space you claim in your mind. Room to breathe, to dream, and to finally live the life you have earned, not the one you have stored away. So let's get to work. Forget grand gestures for a moment. This is about small, ruthless decisions. The first is the shelf life rule. I want you to walk through your home, not as its owner, but as a very practical, unsentimental executor of an estate. For each object, ask this one question. Has this served its final purpose in my life? Your body from 10 years ago has been entirely replaced, cell by cell. Why are you still keeping clothes for that person? That ski suit from 1994. It served its purpose on that mountain in Aspen. It gave you a story. Now its purpose is to take up space and make you feel guilty for not being the person who skis anymore. Acknowledging that things like moments have a natural, dignified end is the beginning of wisdom. Let them go with thanks, not with apology. Next, conduct the pain versus pleasure audit. This is not an intellectual exercise. It is physical. Go to that shelf of trinkets you inherited from Aunt Gloria. Pick one up, a porcelain shepherdess perhaps. Feel the weight of it in your palm. Now, close your eyes and be brutally honest. Does holding this object fill you with active, present-day joy? Or does it bring you the subtle, low-grade pain of obligation? The guilt that you don't display it properly, the nagging need to dust it, the slight resentment that it's even here. Stop being a curator for a life you no longer lead, or for someone else's taste. Your home is a place for living, for breathing, for being. It is not a free, climate-controlled storage unit for the ghosts of guilt and obligation. If it doesn't give you pleasure, its only other job is to cause you pain. Now we must talk about the biggest liar in your life. It's a two-word phrase, someday. Someday is the most expensive word in the English language. It costs you space, it costs you time, and it costs you your sanity. The broken chair you'll fix someday. The fancy china you'll use someday. The box of craft supplies for a hobby you'll start someday. Someday is a beautiful, shimmering fantasy, but today is real. Today is all you have. And the person you are today is being suffocated by the fantasy of a person you might be tomorrow. The future you are saving all these things for will demand a different you, a lighter you, a person who isn't dragging the dead weight of 1,000 somedays behind them. Kill someday before it kills the last of your todays. I see you, hesitating over that box, the one filled with your son's kindergarten drawings, the faded construction paper from 1998. The thought of throwing them away feels like a betrayal. I understand. So don't. Instead, change your strategy. Digitize the emotion, then discard the object. Your job is not to be an archivist of crumbling paper. Your job is to honor the memory. So take the best one, the one where he drew the family and the son has a smiley face. Put it in good light. Take a beautiful high-resolution photo of it with your phone. Create a digital album called The Good Old Days. The emotion you see is in your memory, not in the dusty, acid-filled paper. Detachment is not about forgetting. It's about understanding that the memory is internal, indestructible, and far more powerful than the decaying thing that triggered it. Now let's perform the guest room test. Most of us have a room, a closet, or at least a corner that we would be deeply embarrassed for anyone to see. The spare room that has become a high-priced morgue for old furniture and failed ambitions. I want you to imagine a dear friend, someone you love and respect, is coming to stay with you for a month, not a weekend, a month. They will need to unpack. They will need to use the closet. They will look under the bed for their slippers. Now walk into that room. See it through their eyes. The shame you feel is your soul telling you that this space is being disrespected. Reclaim it. You deserve the same hospitality you would extend to a beloved guest. You cannot welcome new energy, new projects, or new peace into your life if there is literally no room for them. Let's address the sacred cow in the room, the burden of inheritance. You are keeping things, that heavy mahogany dining set, the collection of 200 porcelain thimbles, because you believe it is your duty to pass them down. You believe your children will cherish them as a piece of you. I'm giving you a hard assignment. This week you must ask your children directly, of all the things I own, what 1 or 2 items would you truly want to have when I'm gone? Then be silent and listen. Their answer will shock you into action. They don't want your 12-piece dining set. They want your recipe for lasagna written in your own hand. They don't want your furniture. They want a good photo of you laughing. The greatest gift you can leave your children is not the weight of your possessions. It is the lightness of your love and a life story unburdened by stuff. The real secret is that this is not about loss. It is about a transaction. You are not just getting rid of things. You are selling your burdens to buy back your life. I want you to find one thing, just one. That set of golf clubs you haven't used since your knee went bad. That sewing machine still in its box. You've been telling yourself you should sell it for 5 years. The mental energy you have spent on that single object is enormous. The secret is to stop caring about the money. For 15 minutes, list it online for a price so reasonable it will sell today. The goal isn't the $50. The goal is the immediate, exhilarating transfer of weight. You are not selling a sewing machine. You are selling the guilt. You are selling the space it takes up in your closet and in your mind. You are buying freedom. And freedom, my friend, is priceless. Now I want you to do a small exercise with me. Right now, pause what you are doing. Look around the room you are in, or think about the one cupboard that makes your stomach clench, that one pile. Pick one single object in your mind that you are holding on to. Is it a piece of clothing for a person you no longer are? A gift that carries the weight of obligation? A project you know in your heart you will never finish? I want you to ask yourself, does this object help me grow into the person I want to be for the time I have left? Or does it keep me anchored to a person I no longer am? That's the only question. Tell me in the comments below, what is the one thing you have the most difficulty letting go of? Don't be shy. This isn't a confessional. It's a classroom. Your honesty will give someone else the courage they need. The real cost of ignoring this isn't a messy house. The real cost is the phone call your daughter makes after you fall. The fall you take over a box of old National Geographic magazines you meant to move 3 years ago. It's not a dramatic fall. It's a simple, stupid, preventable trip in your own hallway. but it ends with a cracked hip. It ends with your independence being traded for a walker, for nurses checking in, for your home no longer being your castle, but your well-meaning carpeted cage. Your body is changing. It needs an ally, not an adversary. Your home should be the safest place on earth for you, a tool that helps you age with dignity. Instead, you've allowed it to become a treacherous landscape of your own making, where the things you thought would serve you have become the very jailers that will lock you into dependency. Every object you don't need is a potential enemy lying in wait. But there is a far greater cost, a deeper regret. It's the scene that plays out after you're gone. Imagine your children in their deepest moment of grief, standing in the middle of your living room. They should be sharing stories, laughing through tears about that trip to the lake in '82. Instead, they are facing a mountain of your postponed decisions. They spend the next 3 months of their lives, every weekend, not mourning you, but managing your estate. Their final memories with you aren't your wisdom or your laughter. It's the stressful, exhausting, and silently resentful job of filling a dumpster. It's the arguments over what to keep, the sheer physical labor of it all. You think you're leaving them your history, your treasures. What you are actually leaving them is a bill, not just for the dumpster, but a bill for their time, their energy, and their peace of mind, all cached in their moment of deepest sorrow. This small exercise is not about organization. It is a declaration of war against the thief called someday. It is about reclaiming your present, one small, deliberate act at a time. This is your first step on a different path, a path of lightness and presence. If you are serious about walking this path, about shedding the dead weight of the past to make room for the life you still have to live, then I invite you to make a commitment. Subscribe to this channel. Don't do it for me. I'm just an old man talking. Do it as a pact with yourself, a promise that you will choose to age with dignity, freedom, and intention. Your life is not a dress rehearsal. This is the main performance. Stop saving the good stuff. You are the special occasion. You always have been. Now go. Go live your life. I'll see you in the next one.